Do 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 do. And we are now live. Nobody's ever there when you start. That's not how it works. So let's do things that make it work. Rather than just bizarrely sitting here on the internet talking to nobody. Which is quite odd. This is such an odd concept. We'll copy that. Copy that. Oh, that's not positive. Why is my website down? I don't like not being able to connect to my own website. Oh dear. What did I just do? What did you just do? I guess I can tweet this. Well, we'll see how we go. Hello, one person. Are we live? Yeah, we're live. Let's start that going. Hi, everybody there in the chat. I would type into the chat, but I'm doing something. That thing isn't typing into the chat. I'm starting the thing. You don't know what the thing is. I'm talking gibberish because I can't do the thing and do that at the same time. Now I can type into the chat. Okay. And then that. What does this do? Okay. But it's not working properly because it didn't pick up my thing. And if you know anything about me, it's how I like my thing picked up. I'm being crude now. Of course I am. But why the hell not? Why is that not? Oh, gosh. And somebody's sending me distracting text messages. What is that about? Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. And while there's just three of us, or however many there are of us right now, hi everybody, feel free to type into the chat. Then I'm just going to sit and mess around with things. I'm afraid. I have tweeted and done things like that, you know. Oh, it's you. Hello there in the chat. Let's see if your thing works. Does your thing work? Yeah, your thing works. Oh, well, maybe it's just my thing that doesn't work. Well, that's something. I'm going to talk tonight about self-destructive behavior because I've been doing it all day, so why the hell not? Computers. But essentially, as we know, just waiting right now, I would usually play music at the beginning of a show. But to be perfectly honest, the thing that you pay to play the music is like a tenner a month. And I use it to play music before the beginning of shows. It's not even music you know. It's like just some music. And so I play like 8 songs a month off it. And it costs as much as actual Spotify. So it started to be like a bit of a pain in the ass, really, more than anything. they're just one of those things. So I'm just starting without music, or I will find music somewhere else. I'm sure there are other places where I can find some music I can play. Because if it's music you don't know, who gives a fuck? You know, right? Who cares? If it's music you don't know, it doesn't matter. Self-destructive behavior has a Wikipedia page. Who'd have thought? There's actually a page for it. Where's my thing? I'm going to show you. I'll prove it. Self-destructive behavior is any behavior that is harmful or potentially harmful towards the person who engages in the behavior. It's fairly straightforward, isn't it? I thought it was in itself a descriptive thing. I didn't think it needed further description. What is it? Well, it's self-destructive behavior. That's what it is. You're defining what the words... But anyway. Wow, okay, it's on a continuum, with one extreme end being suicide. Self-destructive actions may be deliberate, born of impulse, or developed as a habit. The term, however, tends to be applied towards self-destruction that is either fatal or is potentially habit-forming or addictive and thus potentially fatal. Self-destructive behavior is often associated with mental illness such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, borderline personality disorder, or schizophrenia. So far, not tempted on the schizophrenia myself. Definitely on the BPD. The ADHD is a maybe. There's a question mark on that one, but not on the schizophrenia. That's a bad one. Do we need this feels like a lot. And to say it's a topic that I've made several videos about. So clearly there is a lot to say about it. I didn't think it warranted a Wikipedia article, and I feel weird that this is here. I don't know what to tell you. Where's my other page? It's a little odd. But anyway. Causes. Bad things happen to you. Okay, this is... Where are we? Yeah, causes. Childhood trauma via sexual and physical abuse as well as disrupted parental care have been linked with self-destructive behavior. That feels oddly specific. Usually behavior like this results from the lack of realization of healthy coping mechanisms, because there is not a lot of focus on specific mental health problems such as self-destructive behavior. People are not being educated on specific ways that could benefit or even prevent these people from acting out. Of course. Additionally, people who've experienced some form of trauma, such as abuse or neglect, can develop psychological issues that can lead to bigger problems. Aside from this, the need for attention or a feel-good sensation can ultimately cause this behavior. A prime example of this would be addiction to drugs or alcohol. In the beginning stages, people have the tendency to ease their way into these unhealthy behaviors to give them... yeah, okay. It becomes a habit they cannot stop, and they begin to lose these great feelings easily. When these feelings stop, self-destructive behavior enhances because they are not able to provide themselves with that feeling that makes mental or physical pain go away. That's the one. It's a bit... I don't know. Yeah, okay, right. It's not wrong. It's not... I'm not saying that's wrong. That's not wrong. Right? That is all totally correct. But I don't feel that is by any means the whole story. Because I have definitely not suffered sexual or physical abuse. That has definitely not been the case. And I never suffered neglect. And self-destructive behavior is... Are we right? This is why I don't like it being a thing. Right. Because we're talking about we're talking about a wide range of behaviors. And I feel like to make a Wikipedia article where we're saying that self-destructive behavior is associated with mental illnesses such as ADHD, BPD, schizophrenia, because they in themselves the self-destructive behaviors can be the problem in themselves. So, for example, are we suggesting that everyone who's ever been an alcoholic has these other underlying mental health problems? I'm prepared to. It seems like a reach. I'm saying that as an idiot here, and there could be people who know what they're talking about who are just screaming at me. But that seems like a reach, and that's why I kind of don't like this. What I feel like is like people with, say, cluster B and ADHD, whatever, tend towards these things, but I don't it feels like a reach to say that everybody who has these other, like every drug user, okay, okay. Well, I mean, that's what this is saying, isn't it? Right? And while Wikipedia is not an infallible source of knowledge, it is in many places, in many ways, more than I have on board at the moment. So I have to sort of go with it. But yeah, I. But then we're talking about what gets people into things like alcoholism, and oh gosh, what does get people into alcoholism? Is it all mental health problem? Okay, so depression. That's they. I bet there's a major pathway, but I bet you have many other pathways into that. I bet there's people who party too hard. But oh no, there'll be a lot of pain masking, that sort of thing, which I never got with alcohol. Like, that doesn't mask the pain. That makes the pain worse. It's like masking the pain with a hammer. Don't do that. Um, self-destructive behavior. I mean, because right. What about this? There's so many things. Hang on, I should read the whole thing. Self-destructive behavior was first studied in 1895. Traumatic experiences. Oh, sending me emails, QWERTY. It's some of my amusing T-shirts you see on video. Yeah, and an email that says I'm live from YouTube. Thank you. Notice that children who were raised in an unhealthy environment were more often the ones to act out and take part in self-destructive behavior. Well, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yes, it's self-medication. I understand. Um, they feel as if their parents failed because of them. Then these harming themselves as coping mechanism. Okay, Freud additionally states that the aggression, self-destructive behavior is influenced by personal motive, just as cultural and environmental factors play an important role in this. Social factors can as well. For example, say a child was bullied all through middle school. There's so much of this, I'm already sick of reading it. A way to get ADHD, what? Form the hypothesis that people with self-destructive behavior suffer from forbidden fantasies, not memories, meaning that since the action isn't supposed to be done, self-destructive people get a stronger drive to take part in these actions. Oh, now there's an interesting. Yeah, okay. Self-destructive behavior comes in many forms that varies from person to person. Therefore, superego and aggression is different in every person. It is okay. Yeah, it's the action of things that isn't supposed to be done, right? It's so wide-ranging when you really think about this, and we think of the overtly bad. We think of the amazingly, obviously harmful. So we go to drugs and alcohol, right? But this is partly why I eat as much chocolate as I do. Some of it is the munchies, I'll be perfectly honest with you. But the rest of it, it's. There is some. Right. So it's about allowing yourself what you were not allowed as a child. Which on the face of it makes sense, right? Who wouldn't do that? There was this thing I always wanted as a kid, and now I'm an adult, I can have it whenever I like. Okay. That's the understandable bit. That's what most people would do, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about doing that thing even though it is of massive detriment to you. So, yeah, it's one thing to say, well, now I'm allowed to eat chocolate bars when I want. But it's another thing to say, I'm going to sit and in a way that I know to be massively unhealthy as an adult, I'm going to sit and eat all the chocolate bars. That's that's not healthy thinking. That's not the process. The healthy way of doing it is deciding, yeah, I can eat chocolate bars whenever I want, but I'm a grown up. I don't need to eat a chocolate bar a day. I'm not going to cry if I don't have pudding after my sandwiches at lunch, whatever, And besides, I'm putting on a few pounds, so I really need to add a load of chocolate into my diet. And maybe then we cheat and we have a couple of sneaky chocolate bars. And that's normal adult behavior, not this. I'm going to make a point and still tantruming over it decades later. And I do this with chocolate bars. And that's on the very minor end of the scale, right? That is surface level stuff. I know what memory drives it because I have this memory every time I stand in front of a load of chocolate bars. And I remember going to swimming lessons. And after swimming lessons, there would be a vending machine at the place where there was swimming, and we would get to choose a chocolate bar. And I always struggled to choose and always wanted more than one, which is childish behavior. I want them all. Entitled child. But that became the entitled adult that now decides, well, I can't decide, so I'm going to take one of each of those. And I'm going to spend £7 on chocolate and just gorge myself, even though that will make me fat. And I know that. And who needs 7 chocolate bars? That's not right. That's not just, getting your own back on your parents or whatever. Just like every time you get in the car, eating 7 chocolate bars. That's not good for you. Don't do that. And so that fits the definition. Self-destructive behavior is any behavior that is harmful or potentially harmful towards the person who engages in the behavior. And eating 7 chocolate bars, I think we can all agree, is unnecessary harm. Yes, it's not like as bad as some other forms of self-harm, but that's harm. No one says you should eat 7 chocolate bars a day. That's not on any health professional's list of things you should do. Not even the chocolate bar people would. They would probably say thank you, but we feel bad. We think you should slow down. Mars don't. I don't know. Do they want that? Am I thinking bad of the Mars people? Which is not to say the Martians. Sometimes I wonder if I'm a little bit drunk when I do these shows, but I don't drink. But alcohol use is a form of self-destruction. This is a picture of people using alcohol. Important we all take a look at that. This is what happens to you when you take alcohol. You put bed sheets on your head, and you drink oddly, and become quite maniacal there. So that is a painting of people using alcohol. I assume that that's sort of done from memory or imagination, and that they weren't posed like that for quite some time. In which case, I doubt their drunkenness. Or maybe they were that shit faced. I don't know. Is that what? So thank you, Wikipedia, for that. Of course, self sabotage, that's a different thing, apparently. What? Have I missed something? And who is this person? I don't know who you are. What on earth? I went redirected from self sabotage. Okay. That's not a thing then. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of it. The self destructive behavior. You know what my thing is. Um and I don't know. I it's a difficult thing to talk about essentially because there's a lot of shame and guilt attached to it. I did a video on it today. I don't want to just redo today's video. But that's always the temptation. What else do I have on it? It's not gone better since I made the video today. Have you seen today's video? Have you seen today's video? Should I play it on the live stream? I'm not going to play it on the live stream. I haven't looked how it's doing. I'm getting distracted easily. Oh, it's doing okay, but still poor. That's the other thing. We can talk about covert narcissism and dealing with it in a second. We'll come back to that. Where was I? Self-destructive behaviors. Yeah, you just have to roll with it. When you fuck up, when you screw up fixing it, it's just another step on the road to fixing it, right? It's rather than, right, if you imagine you have fallen down and you're trying to get up, then you have to see a failed attempt as a stumble, right? Maybe you don't get up cleanly. Maybe you try to get up and you fall right down again, but you have to keep getting up. It's like you're getting up on ice, right? And so that's how I view it. I fell over, but I'll try and get up. And I was trying to get up. There are stumbles along the way. You know, you fall away, you fall down while you're running away from the thing. So that's all you have to do to view it. And I'm lucky though that my thing doesn't involve much self-destruction. Right? I am functional. I am not immediately unhealthy, right? This is not like alcoholism or something like that, which would be like really destroying me day to day. If I treated beer like I treat weed, I'd be in serious bother, and I would weigh 400 pounds, and I'd never be able to drive anywhere, and I'd just be permanently drunk. God, it would be horrible, and the amount I would have to consume. Wow. So yeah, I can do that. So I'm lucky it's not that, because that could have gone very wrong, and indeed it does for a lot of people, and it must be horrific. And even when you look at the other route of drugs and stuff like that, God, these videos must get flagged like by YouTube like nobody's business. Then even weed is still at the good end of the spectrum, right? It could go far worse. And again, you cease being functional and your life becomes about the thing. So I don't know how many people fall into these behaviors and go that far. I imagine alcoholism's the most common. I'm saying that with no statistical data whatsoever, absolutely no knowledge whatsoever. But I imagine of all the self-destructive behaviors, alcoholism is by far the most common. And it's the one that I have the least, not just knowledge of, but relation to. I cannot imagine that feeling because I've never had that kind of relationship with alcohol. Ever. I've enjoyed drinking. I am not anti-alcohol. I am not like a teetotaler, but I don't drink. Alcohol is a means to an end to me. If I'm on a night out, if I'm doing something like that, then okay, I'll drink. But I don't have alcohol in the house or anything like that. I wouldn't drink it. Why would I sit here and drink? I sit here and do something else instead. But a lot of people choose alcohol. I just don't have that relationship with it. It's not nice to me. There are none that I like. There are none that I crave the taste of or anything like that. So I've just managed to avoid all forms of alcoholism and alcohol like overuse or misuse or whatever. So I have very little to say about it. I don't know anyone directly that I know of who's had a drinking problem. If any of my friends ever had, they've not ever talked to me about it. So yeah, and yet it's such a common thing. I should maybe find someone and do some sort of interview, but then I'm not a substance misuse kind of thing. Those were the days. I was going to do a podcast documentary on drugs once, but no one went for it. God, that brings back some memories. Yeah, so self-destructive behaviors. But what was the other thing I was talking about? Covert narcissism. It's been a hell of a week. My mind has been tantruming like nobody's business. Um, is anyone still out there? Yes, you are. Hello, everybody. Um, I've been tantruming a lot this week. It's not been fun, and it's all been driven by the covert narcissism. Why is my website down? This is bothering me greatly. Do I even need a website? Serious question. Has anyone ever been to it? Hello, everybody in chat. Hello. Thank you for responding. I was just checking everybody was there. Right, serious question. Because look, I've been bringing up web pages to look at posting. This is the state of my website right now. I didn't know this was the case. Yeah, database. I don't know why it's done that. Oh, that of course that website's down. Wrong thing. Do I even need a website? Have any of you ever been to it? If so, why? I just always felt I did. And I'm not sure that I do, to be perfectly honest. I think I could just do everything from my YouTube page. Where was I going with that? I distracted myself and lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't think I need one. It's just like a list of links to things, essentially, isn't it? Which in itself is of value. And I do, of course, have the domain name earlymorningbarking.com. But yeah, I don't know if I can be bothered to do that. Anyway, I was talking about tantruming, wasn't I? Yeah, so I've been tantruming. And the way and the reason it comes out is related to my YouTube channel because it's not going as well as I want. And when you get that happening, you have to start. You can live with it for a bit, and I'd been living with it for a bit, and then you have to start. Then things sort of rub it in your face. Things come along and make it unavoidable that you're not doing as well as you wish you were doing. And I don't know if I would say I'm inherently doing badly. I feel like that's misleading if I were to say that. I don't think I am, right? As I keep saying to people, everything's moving in the right direction. Sorry, I drink on live shows. Everything's moving in the right direction, but it's still not going how I would like it to go. I would like to be gaining many more subscribers and followers, whatever, supporters, members, everything that you can gain. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing what I can do. I'm doing it as well as I can do it. I think my content's good, etc. But I'm sort of getting frustrated with it. And when you start getting frustrated with it, as I say, you can live with it for a little while, but eventually it starts to wear. And I've reached the point where it's worn too much. And I think that's to do with other outside factors in my life. You know, there's pressure on me to do well quickly. And it's not going to happen quickly enough. So that sort of exacerbated the situation. And when you get like that, it becomes very difficult to want to go on. As I talked about earlier, I think in a video, or was it a tweet? That's how my life is all messed up. Was it a tweet or did I make an entire video on this idea? I can't remember. But it's, you know, the grandiose versus the covert, where I want to stop doing this because it's not going as well as I want. But I'm scared to do anything else in case, because I feel that sort of takes away my value. Like I need to be looked at. I need to be seen. I need to be some sort of authority on something. The guy who knows stuff about whatever. You know? And I think that's the fear. It's that being just anyone, whatever, who doesn't matter. Whatever that means. And these two things butt heads and war with each other constantly. This, oh, I want to stop doing this, it's not doing as well as I want, and then no, you've got to keep doing this because you don't want to fade into obscurity, whatever. And the truth is always that middle ground of why would you stop doing it? It's not doing badly, it's just not doing as bad as you want. Wouldn't the sensible thing to do be look into why it's not doing as well as you want and what can you do about that? Wouldn't that be the same? Because really, what you want it to do is do well. You don't want to stop. You're just throwing your toys out of the pram because you've not got 1 million subscribers yet. Which, let's be honest, is an unreasonable expectation in the first place. I don't really have an expectation of 1 million subscribers, by the way. That was just an extreme example for the point of telling a story. But that's where I've been, and so it's been very difficult because it comes with a lot of, oh, what's the point? Right? It sounds very depressed. It sounds very low. It sounds like, you know, completely defeated. What's the name of the depressed robot in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I want to say Marvin. Somebody put that in the chat, please. One of you knows that. Don't be telling me none of you knows the name of the depressed robot in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He says sat here not knowing it. It's not Marvin, because it's Marvin the Martian is in what Looney Tunes cartoons. It's got to be an M word. Never mind. You're not going to put that in the chat room, are you? None of you know. Someone look it up for me. Come on. But it comes off like that. It's, oh, there's no point. Defeated, rubbish. Don't want to do this. This is crap. Why? Who wants to be good at this anyway? I wasn't meant to be good at this. I might as well just accept my failure. And that's covert narcissism. Right? That's not even like BPD stuff. That's just narcissism. Everybody thinks it's like this huge feel good all the time, treat people like a dick thing. But you treat yourself like a dick far more than other people. Because you've got constant access to you. You can't get away from you. You are stuck with you 24/7. And you are your harshest critic. And quite abusive. Is it Marvin? Thank you, John, in the chat. Okay, I'm going to go with Marvin. It must be Marvin. Anyway. Yeah, you're your own worst enemy. I am. So much. So much. And it sucks. I make myself want to stop doing everything. Because if I stop doing it, then I'm not failing at it, right? I can walk away from it and say, oh, that was rubbish. That was stupid. Or, you don't want to do that. What N-word? Who said an N-word? I'm curious. What? Have I missed something? M. It's an M word. I said. Like Marvin. Do you know, is it the way I say my N's and M's? Is it my accent? Because I always thought I was quite well pronunciated. That's not the correct use of that word. I'm an idiot. But I always, yeah, but do you know what? As I've made, right, making videos, there are so many things now that do automatic captions. When you upload a video to YouTube, YouTube makes automatic captions. Adobe Premiere can make captions. TikTok makes captions. None of them ever get NPD. Not ever. It's always MPD. Are you even hearing the difference as I'm saying it now? I don't know. I can hear it. MPD, MPD. But subtitlers get it wrong absolutely every single time. So I don't know. Yeah. Oh, hi, Jacob. Hi. You didn't need this existential crisis this morning. I'm sorry, Kellen. M word. M for mother. Or Marvin in this case, as we said. I've totally lost my train. What were we even talking about? This was about narcissism, covert narcissism. Yeah. An M word. I did. I said that. This is. I have to put that on screen for the people who haven't got the chat running now. I know you're teasing. An existential crisis is fun. We all need a good existential crisis from time to time. I have them on an almost hourly basis. What was I saying? I was talking about covert narcissism. There's so much to it. When you set right, so you decide you want to do a thing, you set yourself some unreasonable expectations. You inevitably fail at meeting those unreasonable expectations because guess what? They're fucking unreasonable. And then you punish yourself for failure. And you do that by walking away from the thing and deciding that you didn't want it in the first place. And then you're just unhappy and angry about that because really you did want the thing in the first place. And you start to think that the reason why that thing happened was other people's fault. It's very easy to blame other people, especially if the thing you're doing, in my case, is sort of in the public eye, right? I don't know, maybe it's harder to blame other people if you do something that is very solo, but I don't know, there's always room to blame other people, isn't there? Because ultimately, blaming other people is easier than accepting responsibility for, you know, what you've failed at. That's it. I didn't want that thing anyway. It's rubbish, that. And I couldn't do that because they were all stood in my way. Everybody was against me getting that thing. There's always someone out to get me. There's always, that's what it is. It's that feeling. There's always someone out to get me. There's always something that gets in my way. If I could just I could do this thing if it wasn't for you. If it wasn't for those people standing in my way, I could do this thing. Because then we don't have to take responsibility for not being able to do something, which is fucking hurtful to start with. This idea that I can't do something, it's horrible. There are so few things in the world that I would admit to not being able to do. Right, in the base sense, right? There's lots I can't do. But I'm talking about it in the capability sense, right? I can't fly a plane, but I bet I could learn. I don't feel like it's beyond me. There are very few things that I think are lots of scientific, advanced mathematical things. The truth is, there are many, many things. I'm just an arrogant twat. With MPD, that's the actual truth. It would make a fun TV show, I think. Every week I'd go and try and do another impossible thing that I'm totally incapable of doing and fuck it up. That would be hilarious. You would watch that for 20 minutes a week. Netflix, make that. Anyway. When it happens, and you have this entitlement. Hang on, do we have a woman problem? I can help with that. I'm down to just 99 problems at the moment. Have you ever been accused of falling? Sorry, Kellen Wood. You said something in the chat room that's far more interesting than what I was going on about. So we're bringing this up now. Sorry, you've just become the subject of the show. Have you ever been accused of falling for something you disagreed with falling at and being unfairly accused of narcissism for it? I don't know what that means. Have you ever been accused of falling for something you disagreed with falling for? Being accused of narcissism for it. I need to stop dating goth girls with broken childhoods. Okay. Alt people are wonderful. We all have broken childhoods. I'm not very alt. I'm alt. I've come back to normality. I think we call it middle-aged can't be askedness. I think that's what it is. But even in my younger days, I was not exactly alt. But then that's what you got for growing up in Britain in the late 90s. You see? Hang on. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm conservative alt. Thank you, honey. That's great to hear. What even is that? Oh, it's this. That's what it is. It's this. This is you're looking at it. I wish you'd just tell me rather than trying to engage my enthusiasm because I haven't got one. Marvin. Thank you. That is brilliant. After hours alt. I've conservative alt. Although that gives some kind of right wing preppy kind of vibe that I certainly don't come with. But you see, I'm not exactly the left wing hippie type either, am I? This is Generation X, people. I have hoodies and I sit there with my hood up thinking, fuck you all. I come from a generation of narcissists with entitlement and covert narcissism bred by the disappointment of our lives following the one that our parents had. I'm getting texts. Yes, okay, thank you. The fun of having your audience able to text you some of him. Totally thrown me off now. What was I even talking about? Where were we? Yeah, I was moaning about being Generation X. I think this is where it comes from. We just have bitter disappointment. I don't know what to tell you. I need more hoodies. I'm drastically short on hoodies at the moment. I'm not happy about that. Apathetic cool. That's my look. That's it. Genius. Apathetic cool. I shall start a movement. We should have music and a style guide. Apathetic cool. I'm cool because I just don't give a fuck. Whatever. We are of the Beavis and Butthead generation. I don't know what to tell you. We just don't care. We're so. This has become more apparent the older I've gotten as well. Because it's. I thought it was normal. I thought I was more normal with these attitudes, and I realized no, it's just people of my generation, and it's the millennials that followed us that are just a pain in the ass, quite frankly. Why did you start to care? Don't you see how fucked up shit is? Why did you start to care? Oh God, that's so us. Right? We had so fewer problems when we didn't care. Right? And this stretches to so many things. This is why I'm not active in things, isn't it? Right? We didn't hate anybody, but we don't like anybody either. We just don't care. Fuck you. Just fuck off, man. That's the tagline of a generation. This is what I'm working with here. I'm realizing this. Apathetic cool. Yeah. I'm cool because I don't care. That's it. Apathetic cool. I need to start listening to Pavement. Is this a band? I'm not listening to Velvet Underground. Why do I have to listen to Velvet Underground? Do you know what? I'm already being made to listen to music I don't want to. All right, and that's a good thing, I think. I would not fit the look. Let me look. Yeah, okay. But yeah, more music to listen to. I've got plenty of music to listen to. It's the band playlist, which I can show you. It sounds like the playlist of songs you're not supposed to sing. It's not. It's the band playlist, the playlist for the band. The playlist of songs we work on, which is here. And do you know what? I can't play any of these. If I hit play on any of these, then my live stream stops, doesn't it? Fucking hate this. Right? There's still no way that they can figure this out, that I can play music on a video and they can just sort it out themselves afterwards. You know. Why did I bring this up? Where was I? So I have to do music that I don't want to do. Although we've taken lots off. That's why it's not right. There was lots of music by the Smiths on here. That was the entire point of bringing it up, and it's not there anymore. Never mind. That was the entire point of showing you that, was it was going to have music on it that I didn't like, and they've taken it off. Not because I didn't like it, but because we haven't. I'm not on the toilet. Do you think, God, I think I'm funny. This is an office chair. Sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry at all. So I have to learn music I don't like, and I'm fine with that because, first of all, some music grows on you, and I find it hard to like new music. I am simultaneously caught in this trap of wishing I had more music to listen to because I'm bored with the music I am listening to, but also not wanting to listen to new music. I just want to somehow know more music. And of course, you can't do that. You have to listen to new stuff. So, playing in a band where people are suggesting songs for us to do, because we're just doing covers, um, it means you've got to learn some songs that you didn't pick, right? And while we seem to have very similar musical tastes, inevitably you're going to get songs suggested to you that uh, you don't want to do and that you don't like. And you can't be that guy. You can't be that asshole that is just, no, I don't want to do that one. Oh, I don't like the Smiths. And I don't like the fucking Smiths. I think Morrissey's a prat, and I hate how he sounds, and I wish he would stop. But, the damage is already done, and some people like their guitar intros. So now I have to play some in Smiths. But that's just where I am. How do I not like this? I just don't like Morrissey. How do you like the Smiths? How does anybody hear that guy doing what he does and go, yes, this is good music. I like this. That's how do you like the Smiths? Sorry. No, not at all. I've never liked the Smiths. Just never been a thing. I don't know what I tell you. I don't even know if it would be fair to say that I don't like the genre of music that they play, because I clearly like lots of other similar bands. Um, but I really fucking hate the Smiths and Morrissey, who you know, hasn't he just come out with loads of shit over the last few years? Stop singing like that. Why are you singing like that? That's not even his voice. It's a voice he's doing to sing with. What a prat. Morrissey, English singer songwriter with a hairstyle. I swear he keeps being in the news for saying stupid things. No. Morrissey announces US tour. That's not necessarily a stupid thing. Doesn't he tweet garbage? Oh, he was at the Doncaster Dome. I didn't realise. That's where that was like 5 minutes from my mum and dad's house. He was there. Could have gone to see him and listened to him do lots of songs that I don't like. I swear he said dumb shit and people tried to cancel him. Why can't the cancelled stay cancelled? See, I like cancel culture when it cancels people that I fucking hate in the first place. That's when it's acceptable. Cancel people I hate. What does Pratt mean? Twat, idiot, moron. Pratt's it's kind of a lower end one. Um, yeah. It's kind of in that grey area. Where it's a swear word that I would hear my dad say, but I wouldn't say it in front of him. Kind of like that weird sort of, I don't know. It's not an outright swear, but maybe I shouldn't say it, but it's acceptable enough for him to say it in front of me. My dad that still barely ever swore in front of us. I've probably mistakenly swore in front of my mother more times. I keep doing that. I don't know if he said anything racist, but I think he said some dumb shit. But I don't know. You stay. I have found if you talk enough, if you say enough words, enough times, even with the best of intentions, you will eventually say some dumb shit. As I've told the story before, I was accidentally massively anti Semitic. We've all had this time, especially in broadcasting, right? Back when I was doing like 12 podcasts a week and live shows and all kinds of things. And you just spend hours and hours and hours talking and filling air. And inevitably you are going to say something like, oh, why did I say that? Or words will come out wrong, or you'll just react to something with the incorrect reaction. Whatever. If you do it long enough, it will happen. I'm not suddenly defending Morrissey, by the way. Hello, Reem, in the chat room. You said hello, so hello. I'm entitled to my taste. Yeah, my taste is fantastic, by the way. Um, I narcissist here. Hi. I don't know. I didn't have much snobbish behaviour towards music until I went to university and met other people with really snobbish behaviours towards music, and sort of developed their snobbishness, but without their taste, and then developed a higher level of snobbishness about their thing. And that was a kind of sort of rebelliousness against their uptightness in their strictness with what they considered to be good and that kind of thing. It's quite bizarre. It was quite weird. It was quite just the point of being contrarian and very narcissistic and wanting to just tell someone else that they were wrong. The more sure you're right, the more I want to tell you that you're wrong. That's the thing. Or at least it was. I left the live stream. Okay, in the chat, thank you. That's fine. Well, you were on the toilet anyway. And you know, don't if you sat on too long, you will get hemorrhoids. That is a thing. Don't little health warning. Long times on the toilet is directly linked to hemorrhoids. Not just the squeezing part. I think it's just the sitting in that. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, and now I'm giving advice on hemorrhoids. Yeah, snobby music taste. It became a thing. I didn't used to have it. And I don't know. I now have snobby music taste. But I'm not sure if I could say that the stuff I'm snobby about is actually the best stuff. Right? I'm more sort of. I'd rather just say everything's shit. I haven't liked new music for decades, right? I got to about 23 years old and stopped. And I think I had this sort of golden period between 16, maybe 17 years old to about 22, 23, where I was open to liking and hearing new music. And then it fucking stopped. And I realized a lot of it was to do with the narcissism, right? Because again, and this, this is such a great thing to land on. This is such a great thing to land on while we're talking about covert narcissism, right? The biggest problem, the biggest reason I stopped liking music, why I stopped being able to listen to new music and enjoy it and that sort of thing, was because I was butthurt that I wasn't doing it. Right? There were very few things that I enjoyed doing as a kid in my teenage years. There were very few things. And because I was growing up with this pressure of having to like the right things, right? That's a whole other video. And of those things that I was allowed to like that were telling me that were the right things to do, playing music was definitely on that thing. And I was fucking good, right? And I think that would have been something I wanted to do. If I could have done anything, right, that's what I would have done. And I never managed to find anything else that I really wanted to do quite as much. Right? This is a close, far distant second. Right? Same with the podcasting. And podcasting didn't even fucking exist. Right? Um, and so I always wanted to do something with music. And I reached a point where that clearly was never going to happen. And I'd been out of playing with any form of band for a couple of years at that point. And I got so hateful of everybody and everything in music, right? I was sort of backed up at the time because around that time was the rise of X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, and America's Got Talent, and American Idol, and Pop Idol, and all of that shit. And things in pop music genuinely took a massive downturn, right, from my late teenage years. Pop music has always been pop music, but for a few years it was good, you know? And so it reached a point where I couldn't like anybody new. Everybody new had to be shit. All new music had to be shit, and I couldn't like it. I couldn't acknowledge it. And everybody that played music had to be worse at it than me. So why would I like it? Right? Especially, and then the older I got and the more kid like bands stayed, because most bands are like guys in their early 20s, which when you're like in your late teens or your early 20s yourself, you're like, they look like me, this is fine. And then you grow up a bit and you realize they're fucking children. And that became a bigger point of contention, that these kids were doing something I always wanted to do and failed at. So I couldn't like anything. So I lost music. It went away. And so I have to try and find ways to eke it in. What the fuck is going on in my chat room, by the way? I don't know. You people. So yeah, the covert narcissism fucked up me being able to listen to new music. Consequently, most of my like playlist is like 70s, 80s, and 90s music. And it's not because I necessarily think it's the best, it's just that that's where things ran out for me. That's where I stopped being able to do this. I am going to read what I'm reading things now. Okay, I get it now. I'm with you. Sorry, I'm caught up. I'm slow to read, and I don't have glasses. My eyes are getting so much worse, by the way. This is another thing. Aging. Fucking hate it. I am now at a point everything is too close for me to focus on it. Everything is too close. And I say, "Oh, I need my eyes testing." No, I don't. They're fucked. I know that. What what are they going to test? They're not fucked. I'm not suddenly going blind. I'm just aging. I'm nearly 44 years old. Can you believe that? So now I wear the glasses. So I tell you stories about how covert narcissism took music away from me. But now I have it back. Now it has returned and it's coming along. And it's happier because I actually play the music. That's the thing. Um, and while it's not exactly playing Glastonbury, it is definitely enough. And I can accept that I'm probably not going to play Glastonbury at this point. And I'm okay with that. It's a shame. Who knows what I could have done? You know? Complains when no one's talking, complains when I'm not complaining. Shush now. Shush now. So yeah, the covert narcissism has been somewhat kicking my ass of late. For the last couple of weeks, it's been coming out. Um, Here's a thing worth mentioning though. I've not felt like I should go back to group. Not at any point. I am still very happy with not being in group and not having that as a resource or a backup or whatever because it had stopped being that. You know, there's a little bit of truth in the chat room. Narcissists are hard to please, but once you get them happy, it's heaven for everyone and they have great overall vibes. It's true. It's very true. I'm definitely like that. I know you're teasing. Yeah, I are we hard to please always? I don't think I'm always hard to please. Right? I think I'm sometimes remarkably easy to please. Um dep- right? Cuz I sometimes the reason we're hard to please and this is particular mine, right? A reason why I would generally be hard to please is through lack of communication over what would please me. And so a very common narcissist thing to do is have in your own mind, having created a set of rules or a set way of doing something or an itinerary or having organized something, and then when someone doesn't do it, you go nuts at them and you look like you're hard to please, even though you never at any point said what all these things were you wanted. So how were they ever going? It would have been pure chance. You're living a lottery on being pleased. You know. In the chat, right? I have a friend who's starting group mind talking about what could she expect. She's nervous about it. Um, right. The group setup is the way it worked for me was a room with a circle of chairs and two therapists and a varying number of people. And every session we would sort of, you go in, you sit down, the therapists never start talking. They never start anything. It all comes from the group, and eventually somebody will speak. That's it. And a conversation happens. And the therapist won't, they won't give you answers. They won't say, oh, you're doing that because this, whatever, or anything like that. They may occasionally guide things, or they may occasionally pull your attention towards something and talk about it, try and guide where the conversation goes, that sort of thing. But really, anything can happen in terms of conversation. We'd have times you'd start off talking about a TV show or music or something that's happened or whatever, or somebody would come with something that is very immediate and like, I really need to talk about this thing that's just happened in my life, and that's what you just sit and talk for an hour and a half in this sort of guided led conversation, thinking about things. And somehow that helps, right? It sounds like it doesn't. And it's not always easy because you reach a point where you start asking each other difficult questions and pushing for answers and pushing yourself to start thinking about where your feelings come from and why you feel them, and talking through these problems with other people, and it really really starts to help. And so, but I think it takes a few weeks for you to start seeing how it helps. You have to stick with it. You have to say, I honestly, right, my thing with it was that I had been looking for help for years, and I had put myself through hell to get help. So when the help came along and was offered, there was no way I wasn't going to do all of it. Right? I had to do all of it. Um, and that's all there was to it. So I was sticking with group till the end. Not everybody did. People don't. People go in and decide it's not for them and they leave. I would always have said stick with it, because at the end of the day, it's not asking you to do anything. It's going in a room for an hour and a half a week, in my case, and talking about stuff. And that was never harmful to me. That was never a problem. So why would I stop? You know, at worst, I would have considered uh, doing other things on top of the group. You know, but there was never a need to stop. There was never a need to pack it in. Um, and so group is essentially that. What you really have to be prepared for is dealing with other people's shit, because they're there to listen to yours, but in return, you're there to listen to theirs. So you have that to go through. You go through stuff with people, and you you care about these people, right? You develop a bond with people, that is so close and so tight that you can say anything. There are there's no one in my life that I can say everything to that I was able to say in group. You know, maybe there's a lot that I can sort of spread out around people, but there's no one where you can say everything. There's no one you can say everything to, but you can to these people in group, and you develop this really, I think, important and strong bond that you need to be able to do this. It's a very enlightening experience, and it takes you. I think it took me a couple of months to reach a point where you trust people enough, where you know you can say stuff. And it took even then maybe another year or so before you can start letting out all the darker narcissism stuff. Um, so I guess it depends what your friend is going to group for. Um, that's it. I'm working my way through the chat again because it's kind of a mix between narcissists being difficult to please and going to group. They just need someone to understand them. Yeah, that's basically it. But then we don't communicate what would please us. This is our problem. We expect it to just be known sometimes. You know? Is somebody stalking someone in the chat? I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding, of course. Right, what time are we on? Oh, okay. Right, well, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been awesome. It's been lots and lots of fun. And I've enjoyed it immensely. Thank you very much indeed. And I talked about going to Twitch for these, and I can't be asked, quite frankly. I'm going to stay on YouTube. I still haven't decided whether to leave these up on the channel after the fact. They end up being left up for a while. But I don't know. I never know what to do with them because I don't think these are any good afterwards. I don't think anybody really sits through them and watches them afterwards because there's a lot of waiting for stuff and a lot of wading through crap that is fine if you're watching live and maybe even chatting, but not that interesting afterwards. Anyway, I'll figure that out. I will see you all later. Thank you for watching again. Go and check out the channel and new videos on it and support me on Patreon. Please, I need Patreon supporters and super chats and all of that stuff. And I will see you later another time. Bye bye.